Does the term one step forward, two steps back mean anything at all? What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my Beverly Hills Cop film review series, where we're at the third chapter right now. We've got one more to go before I do a ranking video where I'll be going through every single one of these with a fine-tooth comb. And I've also, at this moment, reviewed the first two films, which you can find in the description below, so check that out when you can. So released in 1994, Beverly Hills Cop III follows Detroit detective Axel Foley as he is once again roped back into Beverly Hills. After his superior is gunned down, he then teams up with his friend Billy Rosewood to stop a group of counterfeiters at a local amusement park. Seriously, why don't you just move to Beverly Hills? Isn't it obvious at this point? So Beverly Hills Cop 3 has always been the kind of strange one, the kind of odd man out. It's always been a sort of a question mark. It is considered the weakest, and I can definitely see why. Oh, brother, can I see why. It does, sure enough, stick out like a sore thumb. This installment had major problems, and it shows everywhere. So before I get into the gritty and the nasty, let's get into the positives. The only two things I can say that's noteworthy of this film. The amusement park setting. I did like the fact that they moved it to a setting where kids go to have fun and families and all that. A place of fun and just this amusement park. I thought it kept the story fresh. I thought it was a way, in a slew of bad things that went wrong with this installment, a way to keep the franchise just a little bit fresher and just gave it a little bit of a newer perspective. Not that I'm praising this film whatsoever. It is terrible. But still, I did like that setting. Like I said, I thought it gave it a little bit of a fresh take. Now, if there's anything else worth mentioning in this film, was there's a scene where Axel, our main character, is being chased by the bad guys through the park, and he goes on this spider ride where it goes all which way, and the thing malfunctions. Well, these two kids that's kind of like across from him in another carriage that kind of gets caught in a crossfire, and it kind of becomes like a life or death situation for them, where Axel Foley is kind of like a superhero in this, and I thought it was kind of gripping. It was interesting. If I was to take anything else away from this film that I actually did enjoy, wouldn't be this. This actually would be the highlight of the film and the only noteworthy scene in this film, where he literally tries to save these kids jumping from one port to the other. It's kind of like Spider-Man would do. And I know I'm trying so hard not to compare it to a comic book. This is not a comic book film. I understand, but still. I did find that scene pretty amusing, pretty entertaining. Unfortunately, that's all she wrote. Because this film, as I dive into my negatives, it is the weakest. Oh, brother, it is the weakest of this franchise, and it shows everywhere you look. From the moment the film opens up, in the opening scene where it shows Eddie Murphy talk, you could just tell something was wrong. Something was different about this one compared to those first two films. You could just sense something wasn't quite right. Because when it came to Eddie Murphy's character, which was supposed to be the shining spotlight of this series, which he kind of is in the first two. This is the character that made Eddie Murphy. That wisecracking, smartass attitude type, that's pretty much what made Eddie Murphy the icon that he is. You don't get that here. Here it's just bland. There's not a single scene in this movie, like bits and pieces probably, but not enough to merit it in a positive way, but there's just nothing here that actually gets you to remember that this is the same character that you know of from those first two films. There's no drive, there's no passion, there's just nothing. And I don't know what it was, but there was nothing about Eddie Murphy's performance that stood out at all. There wasn't no trace of his comedic genius, of his comedic trademark, and this may be a little small, a little minute, but you don't even get that laugh from Eddie Murphy that I mentioned in the first film's review, that other signature of his, which proved it all the more wild that I really don't think he was having a good time doing this particular entry. Which also begs the question, was this really a Beverly Hills Cop film? And it just shines on that saying, one step forward, two steps back. They took one step forward with the second one, and then two steps back with this one, or three, or four. And this is coming from somebody that wasn't really that much of a fan of him in the first place. I mean, so far, the second one is my most favorite. Spoiler alert for the ranking. Here, it just felt like a ripoff. It just felt kind of like a parody. It just felt like Eddie Murphy's character was kind of sidelined. And that's really sad when you think about it. It's really sad because he was terrific. No matter what I say about the films in general, he was terrific in those first two. And it's a shame that they treated him the way they did in this. Even Eddie Murphy himself, I believe, said that this was the weakest, I believe, years after this has come out. It's just a damn shame. Again, with the comedic tone, there just wasn't nothing here. It just felt all over the place. This was the one where I laughed the least at. There's no wittiness, there's no charm, there's no magic. And most of that was because of Eddie Murphy in those first two. And because they dumbed his character down, it just took that away from the film as well. That comedic magic that the first two had. Yeah, it just came off as dull. It was just disappointing. I mean, seriously, what the hell happened?
I don't know.
I just don't know.
You could tell this was sort of a product of a studio film. Now, I'm not really sure if this is what actually made this movie the way it was, but it may have been studio interference. I know there was like script rewrites, a lot of script rewrites, which forced some characters absent, which I will get into here in a second. But there was like certain script rewrites, there was certain just elements that really could have benefited a lot more, and that just really kind of reminded you that maybe this was something that the studio just kind of interfered with a little bit too much. And usually whenever you make a movie like this and there are interference and creative differences and rewrites and all that, it really shows. They think us audience members are not that smart to figure that out, but we do. Trust me, we do. That really shows here. It just really screams desperation. Nevertheless, there's no denying that this definitely feels different. It definitely feels off, and there's really no merit here at all. Now, as I mentioned before, there's a bunch of script rewrites that forced production to start a lot later than some actors has anticipated. In doing so, sadly, John Ashton, who played Taggart, and Ronnie Cox, who played the captain, the Beverly Hills captain in the first two, nowhere to be seen. You hear like an excuse as to why Taggart is not in there, saying that he retired, but that's it. And that's what made the second one so near and dear to me, was the chemistry between Eddie Murphy and those two guys. Sure, Judge Reinhold actually does show up here, but not even him could save this film. And the fact that there was rewrites, this really shouldn't have even been a Beverly Hills Cop film. The rewrites and the all-out dumbed down version of this character, of Eddie Murphy's character, it's like, that's not Axel Foley. It's like, seriously, what the hell happened? What went wrong?
Your guess is as good as mine.
But ultimately, the film doomed them all, sadly. Even the action sequences. If this was a different film, this probably would have been ranked a little bit higher. But now, as much as I downed the first one, as much as I did not like the tone and pacing of the action in the first film, at least that one had a good story and Eddie Murphy's comedic genius to hang on to. Here, you don't even get that, and because of that, the movie fails on all sorts of levels. I'm telling you guys, this just felt like it was heading straight toward a cliff, going 90 miles per hour, and just not stopping. Or, let me pitch you another scenario. Felt like it was playing chicken with another car, going straight into the other car and just exploding. It definitely ran out of gas by the time this thing came out, and it's sad. There's nothing more I could say about it but that. It was not good, and it was just utter disappointment. I just hope that the fourth entry, the newest one that will premiere on Netflix this week, in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, kind of redeems itself and kind of blows the third one out of the water, because this one, just a plain dud, and it just did not cut it at all. It is definitely the weakest of the franchise, and like I said, I just hope that the newest one really shows some redeemable qualities to it, because this franchise needs that. Even 30 years later, this franchise needs its redeemable qualities. And I hope Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, or Beverly Hills Cop 4, I'm just going to call it that, proves that and does that. If you're hoping for a better entry here, one that blows 1 and 2 out of the water, go back to the first 2 and just skip this one. So Beverly Hills Cop 3, what was your thoughts on this? Were you a fan of this entry? Were you somebody that was a little bit more patient, a little bit more understanding? Were you someone that actually thought that this one was the best in the franchise? Or like me, and I wouldn't go to this extent, but are you someone that thought that this was so bad that the experience of this one pretty much ruined the whole entire franchise, that made you shy away from watching any more of them? In other words, have you given up on this franchise entirely? Leave me a comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, and make sure to click that bell icon and set it to all so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.